So the Atlanta Hawks are yet again in the NBA news for all of the wrong reasons. I'm going to read you a stat before we talk about this team a little bit in depth. Also, 5 days ago, we did drop a video, the Atlanta Hawks Paradox. So if you have not seen that, make sure to check that out before watching this video. But let's get straight to it. Since Trae Young has come back to the Atlanta Hawks, they are 0-6, and in each of those games, the Atlanta Hawks have allowed 125 plus points a game against the Chicago Bulls not too long ago, where they allowed Chicago to score 152 points in regulation. Last night, a loss to the New York Knicks, at least last night at the time of recording this video, 128-125. The Atlanta Hawks again dropped another heartbreaking loss at home to a rival in the New York Knicks. Let's focus on Trae Young for a little bit. 9 points, 10 assists, 2 steals on 22.2% from the floor, 2 of 9 from the field, and 0 of 4 from 3, 6 turnovers. You cannot have your star point guard doing that. But I want to give a little bit of grace to Trae Young here, because we have to remember what he's done for the Hawks thus far. Third year, taking this team to an Eastern Conference Finals. Iconic comeback victory against Philadelphia in Game 5, down double digits. I believe it was 25 in the third quarter, coming back and winning that game. He has moments where he's him. New York Knicks, he's him. 4-1, closing it out on the road. 48-11 in his first Eastern Conference Finals appearance. And mind you, that was not a good Trae Young shooting game. 4 of 13 from 3. He could have easily had 50 plus in that game if the 3 ball was falling. Trae Young has done things for this franchise that deserves to be talked about and deserves to be celebrated. But as Cam Newton said, you're supposed to be our number one, and you're playing like you're not number one. I'm not going to call Trae Young a bum, but there is an issue with Trae Young. Defensive rating, again, 121 plus. He's a guy that allows 121 points per 100 possessions, getting fried by Jalen Brunson last night. In some of the film I was watching, he wasn't even really getting back to his matchup if he had a turnover. It's just things that time and time again continue to eat away at this Atlanta Hawks team. And you also have a guy in Jalen Johnson who is also a defensive liability. He's not nearly as bad as Trae Young, but still defensive rating of 114 as a forward. He's a guy, and this is going to be a separate video, but there's certain players in that forward position, that forward facilitator role, who have taken the leap as a two-way player, except it's no longer two-way. They have taken the leap offensively that could put them in position for being a two-way player if their defensive skill still stayed there, but their defensive skill took a huge drop off in result of their offensive skill taking a huge leap. There's just so much to talk about with this Atlanta Hawks team when we talk about what's wrong. And it's not even the pieces, right? I mean, in that Knicks loss, you had a Kongwu giving you 31 and 14. You had Jalen Johnson giving you 29 and 12, but only 44% from the floor, 7 of 16 from the field. You had Dyson Daniels giving you 13, 8, 9 with 2 steals, 5 of 8 from the floor. Dyson Daniels is like this fringe forward, not necessarily Draymond Green in the triple single sense, but Dyson Daniels is a guy who I've seen have a lot of near triple doubles this season, but not necessarily put it together. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he did miss the game tying 3, but still 25 points, 8 of 18 from the floor, 5 of 12 from 3. You had Newell with 12. You have Krejci with 9. I mean, this is a team that has pieces to be consistent. We also got to remember Porzingis is still out with an illness, so obviously that is going to hurt that Hawks team. They don't really have a rebounder outside of a Kongwu. What I want to talk about, though, is Zaccharie Risacher. Is it safe to say that of all of the number 1 picks in this century, the Atlanta Hawks have netted arguably the worst one in the history of the sport in such a long time? Let me read you through these number 1 draft picks. So if we start with the 2020s, we have Anthony Edwards in 2020, Cade Cunningham 2021, Paolo Banchero 2022, Victor Wembanyama 2023. 2025 is obviously Cooper Flagg. 2024 is Zaccharie Risacher. I want you to remember that. Let's go to the 2010s. From 2010 to 2019, you have John Wall, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Anthony Bennett, Andrew Wiggins, Cat, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, DeAndre Ayton, Zion Williamson. And then finally, if we look at the 2000s, so 2000 to 2009, we have Kenyon Martin, Kwame Brown, Yao Ming, LeBron, Dwight, Andrew Bogut, Andrea Bargnani, Greg Oden, Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin. I think Zaccharie Risacher is the worst player there. I actually don't think that's that debatable anymore. Last night, what did he do against the New York Knicks? Zaccharie Risacher giving you 4 and 4, 2 of 7 from the field, 29%, 0 and 2 from 3. What's he doing this season? He's giving you 11 points, 3 rebounds, an assist and a half, a steal, and a block. So 1.6 stocks, about a turnover a game, shooting 45, 33, 67.5 splits. No pun intended on the free throw percentage. Zaccharie Risacher is a guy that in his prime, and I'm not going to call his rookie season his prime. I'm not even saying he's a guy that can't improve. He is a guy that they were saying he was a larger Klay Thompson. I mean, he had near 40 balls with off-ball movement primarily, just slashing and three-point shooting. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Zaccharie Risacher, and I'm not saying that Zaccharie Risacher is the reason this Atlanta Hawks team is where they are right now. But when you have a number 1 pick, that nonchalant French demeanor that took Atlanta by storm in your rookie year, that was cool, Zach. But you're supposed to be their number 1. And when Atlanta needs a consistent third guy, when Trae Young falls off, when Nickeil Alexander-Walker's shots might not be falling, when KP's out not getting the ball, you're supposed to step up, Zaccharie. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm not sure if it's the system. I'm not sure if it's the fit. I'm not sure if it's just the lack of confidence, maybe not getting the reps again. I'm not saying anything personal against the young man. We're not saying that he can't improve. But as it stands, you're averaging the number on your back, 10. You need to do more for this Hawks team. 4 points in a loss to New York. 5 points in a loss to Miami. 10 points in the loss to Chicago. 17 points in the other loss to Chicago. 11 points in the loss to San Antonio. 5 points in the loss to Charlotte. 15 in a win to Philadelphia. 10 points in a loss to Detroit. 7 points in a win in Washington. 9 points in a loss against Denver. 11 points in a loss against the Clippers. 4 points in a loss against Detroit. You're getting a pattern, right? You're seeing a pattern. I mean, Zaccharie Risacher's best stat line this season so far is 21, 4, and 1. 3 of 8 from 3, 7 of 14 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. That is what they need from him almost every single night. It's what they need from Zaccharie Risacher. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to do that, but he needs to do it a lot more. He needs to do it to the point where the Atlanta Hawks can confidently say, all right, man, you can be our number 3 or number 2 guy. And also, it should be worth noting that Trae Young was out for that game. This is where Jalen Johnson really started stepping into that facilitation bag. But it's like, dog, you gotta step up, man. Obviously, the Hawks have so many issues defensively. They have to make schemes for Trae Young on defense. A beautiful comment pointed that out. We're going to post that on the screen right now. They've got to make up defensive schemes for Trae. So now that Trae's out, they can play man a little better, but they don't have the personnel. They're not used to playing man all the time. Zaccharie Risacher, you're supposed to be the guy that unlocks this team, right? In that 2024 draft class, it wasn't the greatest, right? You had Reed Sheppard, Alexar, and Zaccharie Risacher. Those were your guys to really choose from. But looking at what Reed Sheppard is doing on Houston, he could probably give you similar production to NBA All-Star Trae Young right now. And that's not a good look. I'm not saying Young and Risacher are the sole issues of the Atlanta Hawks, but the more and more film I watch, it's becoming apparently clear one guy can't play defense and is extremely inefficient at the guard position. And the other guy, he's not a two-way threat or a one-way threat. He's a no-way threat because Zaccharie Risacher is underperforming based on what they brought him in to do. If those two guys can step up and it gets a little better, then we can have an honest conversation about the Atlanta Hawks in terms of what they're still missing, because it's so hard to judge a team where KP is out there dealing with injuries and then the guys in there are just underperforming. With that being said, though, guys, that is going to do it for us today. Again, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow the socials below for daily hoops content, the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, the Threads, and the YouTube. Again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that notification button. Get updated immediately when BoxInOne drops new content. For the last time, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you all in the next one.